Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Thomas Seabury Canarian, and you are watching another amazing email academy, email marketing trends of 2026, the first one of 2026. So we got some fresh faces in here, new resolutions, new year. Let's get into it, shall we? So first and foremost, I want to introduce somebody that y'all know very well. Y'all have seen her all the time. Good friend of mine, Natalie Lynch, the director of Mailjet. How are you doing, Natalie? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you. And for the people that are like, oh, you can't say it after January 7th or 8th or whatever, we're still saying it for like 10 more days. Okay. We got
I
10
didn't know
more
that
days.
was.
It's all good. It's all good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, moving down the line, shall we? We've got a new face joining us today. She's been with us for a while over here at Mailjet, and we wanted to invite her on here and to join us for Email Academy from now on. We've got Chloe Dukes here, the product marketing manager over at Cinch Mailjet. Chloe, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel quite special to be able to join the two of you here today.
Awesome, awesome. You're in good company. It's gonna be a good time today. It's gonna be a good time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, too, really want to talk about our back end team because we are nothing without them. So, massive shout out to Elena on our support end, answering questions on the back end, and also Laura helping us out and also playing this whole thing, and also dropping a blog post. So keep an eye out in the chat for that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back here and make sure everyone's having a good time here at Email Academy. But most importantly, make sure you drop those questions in the Q&A tab throughout the presentation, and we will be answering them towards the end. Also, friendly reminder, this presentation is going to be recorded. It's recording right now. You can also come back to this page and rewatch it, or you can go over to our YouTube. I'll drop a link for that as well, and you can rewatch this at the end of your workday. So, all right, Natalie and Chloe, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back, and I will see you guys towards the end of the show.
Thank you so much. See you soon. All right, you ready to get started? Let's go. All right, take us away, Chloe. All right, so we are going to start by looking at the big picture of email for 2026. As you can see here, we are describing the landscape as bigger, stronger, and more selective than ever. So let's go ahead and break that down into what that actually means, because it's a lot of words. First, the bigger part. The scale of email is massive and it continues to grow. We're looking at a world where nearly 4.8 billion email users are going to be by the end of this year. That's that 4.8 billion. They're sending a staggering 392 billion emails every single day. That's a ton. And the potential reach is really unparalleled. But that's not just about being bigger. It's not just about that growth. It's also about being stronger. So despite all the new channels that have emerged over the last several years, email still remains that preferred method for brand communication. And we know this because when we look at consumer statistics and asking, how consumers prefer to receive their promotional messaging, a massive 77% included email as their top choice, as one of their top choices. I want to be really specific there. This tells us that the inbox is still really powerful and really trusted for connecting with your audience. Okay, finally, more selective. What does that exactly mean? Email is, big, it's strong, inboxes are crowded, but this means that your audience is just more selective about who they connect with. So when we look back at that 77% preference, that's a sign of trust. It's really on us as marketers to really earn that with every single send that is being pushed out. So as we go through today's trends, remember that email remains unmatched in reach, in ROI, and reliability. So the key is to be really thoughtful and strategic to ensure that you're not just another crowded email in the crowded inbox. So that is the breakdown here. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Natalie to get into a little bit more about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so today on Email Academy, we're going to go over, as she said, the trends of 2026. We're going to talk about how trust is going to define your brand, KPIs that matter, and building inclusively. We're going to go over some information on Omnichannel, authentication, and of course, AI. It wouldn't be a tech webinar without AI. But before we do that, I am going to throw up a poll and we're going to ask you a question. We just want to understand which email areas feels the most challenging for you. Is it deliverability, personalization, measuring performance, or adhering to those goals? You can go ahead to the poll tab and answer. We'll leave that open for a while, but we definitely want to understand from you what is the most challenging. So if we, everyone's starting in the chat, but if you go to the polls tab, you can actually participate directly in that so that we can see the calculations up. Votes are coming in. And I will leave that open for a little bit as we get into our first topic. So far, the first three are a tie. Okay, so let's start with our first topic.
Awesome. So counting down the trends of 2026, starting with trust will define your brand. Okay, ethical data use and transparent consent will define brand reputation. This is really just a very eloquent way of saying more than ever, your brand's reputation will be defined by how you handle data and consent. It all starts with data collection. So that is the foundation, and it must be built on explicit consent. So making sure that you are compliant with regulations like GDPR and CCPA. That's really a simple and effective way to do this. It would be actually leveraging the double opt-in process, which confirms consent and helps maintain a high quality list. Because who you're sending to, making sure that there's quality and that you have a clean list is extremely important. And Natalie will get into that momentarily. So this extends into how you use that data as well. The key is to leverage data for relevance and make sure that you're not overreaching. Continuing to build trust, and by building trust, it in turn boosts engagement. So remember that consent, it's not just a one-time transaction. It's actually the foundation of an ongoing relationship that you're building and that you have to nurture with your audience as well. Form a strategic mindset and be very deliberate. Give your subscribers control with clear preferences so that they can opt into the content that they really want. It's much better to maybe have a few less subscribers in your list that are more engaged rather than having just a muddy list and to make it larger and grow your numbers. Plus, good data hygiene practices are a must. It shows respect for your audience's inboxes, and it keeps your sender reputation strong. So, Natalie, how can we actually put this into practice?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're looking at trust, we want to look at, as you said, a lot of those consents. We want to make sure our users are opting in. So when we implement this into the life cycle of our email marketing, we start with the sign up. Now, you can choose explicit or implicit. That's when you intentionally check the box or have it already checked and they have to uncheck it, would be implicit. But explicit consent is not only GDPR compliant, but is also highly recommended because that's an action they're taking that shows intent. That's definitely important. Now, when we're subscribing contacts to our lists, we also want to make sure we're deploying double opt-in. This ensures that it's not the wrong person and that we are, again, having that extra engagement to show that they want to engage. Now, when people do this, when they show you that intent by double clicking or double opting in, it means that they want to engage and they're likely to engage. Engagement matters so much when we're talking about the whole life cycle, but definitely deliverability. So once we've got them on our list, we want to think about the life cycle of our customers, and those subscriber preference centers allows them to really customize exactly what they want to hear from you when. Maybe you are sending something that they don't want to engage with. So giving them that preference center to be able to say, I want to engage with this versus that, will let them customize what they get in their inbox, which means they will engage. Now, all of these options are great to put in front of your users, but absolutely remember we need to be cleaning our lists. We recommend once a quarter. Make sure we remove people who have hard bounced, typos, things like that. And also make sure we consider the people who have disengaged. At some point, we might want to remove them or re-engage them or deploy different tactics. But all of this builds trust with our user base so that they know when they're signing up, when they're continuing to open, that they're going to get content that is engaging to them. Finally, don't oversend, don't abuse the trust. So that's really important in the whole life cycle. And as we implement those practices into our email marketing, we're ensuring that we're building that trust with our contact base and our audiences. Okay, so what's the next trend?
All right, the KPI shift continues. The KPIs that we have historically used in email, I know I've been in the industry for many moons now, they've changed. And it started back in around 2022 when Apple introduced mailbox privacy protection, or Apple MPP. You may have heard of it. Open rates have become increasingly unreliable as major inbox providers. The Gmails and the Yahoos of the world have invoked bots to validate the safety of the content that is being sent. The trend, it's just going to continue, and it accelerates as AI summaries are increasingly getting between the sender and the recipient, which we are also going to dive into later on here. So with the AI generated summaries and previews that are very popular right now, emails can actually be read, evaluated, and even acted on without a traditional open even occurring. So this just continues to prove that opens as a valid business measure continue to get watered down. Natalie, what can we do to help combat this?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, having bot detection on your statistics is really important. And a lot of ESPs provide that, email service providers. That allows us to really understand what's human engagement and what is bot engagement. So looking at this implementation from the holistic perspective into our email marketing, again, we want to use open rates directionally. They're inflated these days often because of those bot clicks, but they can also tell us direct indicators or directional indicators of campaign health. So if we have a pretty stable, even though it's inflated open rate, and it all of a sudden drops dramatically or increases substantially, that's a really good indicator that something's up. Maybe if it dropped, there's deliverability issues. It's a really good directional indicator. You wouldn't base your entire success on it, but definitely keep an eye on it as a trend line. And we want to monitor metrics that signal true human engagement. So those are things like tracking clicks or downstream contact behavior. Maybe they clicked, maybe they purchased. What do they do after they received the email? That indicates to you that they took action. That will really tell you the success of your campaign. Using all of that, you can optimize your future campaign content. So when you're looking at a campaign statistics, you can see where people clicked, what they engaged with more, and what they did afterwards. Combine that to really build your next campaigns so that you can build engaging content and optimize for those audiences. Every click, every downstream behavior gives you more information to segment on, to build those audiences out, and to really drive that engaging behavior. That's how you implement.
Natalie, not to interrupt you, but really quick question here. What about like A/B testing, right?
Absolutely. This statistics information will really give you good information to test on. So if you have a link that really performed well, or you have a subject line that performed well, and take variations of that, and then use A/B testing to test those different things to really increase engagement. And then you'll see that follow through in the life cycle of the statistics. We always recommend A/B testing. It's one of the best tools. I will always say it when we bring it up, make sure we're testing precise variables. Don't change everything on the second email, because if something's successful, we want to know what, so we can repeat it. If something's not successful, we want to know what, so we stop repeating it. So keep your variables limited and absolutely A/B test. Okay. So with that in mind,
Trend 5, build inclusively and engage universally. Quick question. Has anyone seen the new Apple commercial for accessibility? I saw it during one of the big football games I watched this weekend. The Bears played, and I'm a Bears fan, and my Indiana Hoosiers won the national championship, which I'm so super excited about. But in watching a lot of football this past weekend, I saw this commercial. And if Apple is doing an accessibility commercial, it matters. So what does this mean? Interactivity in email. Clicks that hopefully end in your intended business outcome, right? That's what that means. But that can only happen when your email is able to be consumed by the end user or the subscriber. So email accessibility, it's the practice of designing and coding emails to be usable by people with disabilities, ensuring that they can perceive and understand and navigate and interact with your content that you've worked hard on building out, right? Accessibility is very key, and the ability for anyone to consume emails and digital content is actually now a compliance regulation law over in Europe called the European Accessibility Act, and it was put into place in June of 2025. In the United States, we have our own set of ADA compliance standards as well, also enforced but not as strictly as the European Accessibility Act. The way your emails and are designed determine really who can engage with those emails. Can a screen reader, intake that information? Can it be understood? Can your email be understood by a screen reader? Can it be interacted with by subscribers who are using assistive tech or who are assessing the content in a constrained environment? All of this is super just important. So the design of your emails is really the foundation for accessibility, and it can result in your email actually being completely ignored or passed over, which we do not want. Accessibility issues reduce reach by excluding users outright and then create subtle friction that discourages interaction across devices and environments. So, Natalie, what are we actually doing to put accessibility into action in our inboxes?
Absolutely. So when we're looking at our emails and we're designing them, we want to make sure every alternative text is placed on every image. That again, if a screen reader needs to screen it, you want our users to have a full context of your email, and that image is a part of it. So make sure we're using alternative text. Make sure we're ensuring, make sure you have sufficient color contrast. Now, a lot of this is for disabilities, but really think about when you're tired and you're checking your email on your phone and you open it and it can be really bright, right? And that hurts your eyes. It's for everyone, really. Accessibility design is just better design for our eyes. And it makes sure that everyone can engage. So contrast is really important. Make sure people can see. Responsive design, especially if you know your audience is on a mobile device primarily versus a laptop, how they're engaging will really determine how it looks in the inbox. So looking for that responsive design, and then structure content for readability. There's a way you can structure content that we're used to reading as humans from top to bottom with hierarchy, and then there's a way to make it messy. If it's easy to read, we'll read it. So make sure you're keeping all that in mind. Above and beyond, please test your emails before you send them. There are tools that allow you to see it in every inbox before you send. Make sure you're getting alternative eyes on it with your teammates, but also make sure you're running inbox or email previews so that you can understand what your email is looking like in, say, Outlook, since it's so traditionally reliable with emails, right? Make sure you can really look at it and see that your dark mode is coming through. So much of us use dark mode. Is your logo showing up on dark mode? You want it to land in every inbox beautifully. I will say we did an email academy on this last year. So if you want to dive into the details on this, definitely check it out. We interviewed an email developer on this, and it's really great content. So shameless plug on that. But it's definitely important to make sure everyone is engaged.
Absolutely. All right. We're halfway there, guys. Trend number 4, be intentional with omni-channel orchestration. Omnichannel, omnichannel. We've heard about it for years. Engagement happens everywhere, not just in email. So from SMS to social to email, and then all the way back again. We are a digital society. We're on our devices in many different channels. So customer relationships no longer live on a single channel as they did many moons ago. Audiences are moving, as mentioned, between all of these different channels from, an email, maybe when I'm, sitting at home to when I'm on the go, my mobile device where I'm getting an SMS or an MMS or a WhatsApp. And then, maybe an in-app notification that pops up because I haven't finished my target order or my target order is ready, and all kinds of other touch points depending on the context, the urgency, and really preference. So when we're looking at all the different channels, right, email supports richer content, more interactive content, and it's therefore to be used as a longer form of communication. While channels like SMS or other messaging channels, typically the rule is to stick to approximately 160 characters from a traditional best practices standpoint. And those are better suited to drive immediacy and time-sensitive interactions. It's really important that we understand the differences, and they're very key to definitely using each channel in an appropriate fashion. So I also think this really, we have to look at the behavior patterns as well. So we need to track our customers' behaviors in looking at when and how and where they are engaging with your brand, and use those behavioral signals as data to inform your omnichannel strategy. However, as we mentioned in Trend 7, trust will define your brand. So Natalie mentioned it as well. Do not overreach with too many touches across too many channels, but instead be strategic in your efforts. So here are some tips.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we are introducing additional channels, we want to do so very intentionally and strategically. This is, again, because we don't want to overreach. We don't want to overwhelm. We want to do it when intent or urgency is high, when we're introducing SMS or WhatsApp messages. Those are things a lot of us have notifications on for, right? My email's a little bit less. Email's a lot more passive. But high urgency environments, whether it's transactional or like a coupon code, can be used in other channels, and that can be really awesome to signal engagement for your audience. Avoid planning in silos. So if you're introducing additional channels, even if the reporting is fragmented and you're using different platforms, make sure you bring those statistics together and understand how your users are engaging across channels, because we want to plan our strategy intentionally, and we don't want to blast on multiple things if they're more likely to engage one place over the other or certain times. So make sure we're bringing those metrics together to understand the big the big picture before we execute. And then we can use them as triggers for reminders and really support our email messages as well, so they can work together and coordinate very well. Avoid just large untargeted cross-channel sends. Obviously, with email, we use segmentation, but I would say you want to segment even further when it comes to SMS or WhatsApp or the different channels, simply because you can very easily overwhelm. A lot of us see those SMS a little bit more intimately. It's a direct connection to us. So we want to make sure that we are coordinating and we're targeting the right audiences, and we're doing it intentionally. And then we want to coordinate our frequency, again, not to overwhelm. You'll see this as a trend. Not overwhelming people is really important. And we all know how many messages we get. I don't even open my messages these days anymore. Everything I do is on WhatsApp because my SMS can just be overwhelming with too many sends. That's how we get people to disengage with our brand very quickly. Also, if we ruin our reputation on one channel, we're likely to ruin it on every channel. So this is like a one shot, you lose your contact. So we want to be very, very intentional. I will say, Mailjet is obviously a part of the Sense universe, and we have a lot of different products that allow you to integrate into your email strategy if you're looking to incorporate a channel. Shameless plug, Sense Engage does SMS and does integrate well with Mailjet. So it is a great way to branch out. This is a picture of their automations, which work with Mailjet's email. So it's a great way to start slowly doing it and introducing it to your brand.
Yeah.
All right.
And Natalie, with, that integration with Engage, we also have a contact sync, right?
We do, yes. So you can sync your contacts between both platforms so that you're not having to manually do so.
Awesome. Okay. Trend number 3, authentication is the new normal. What does that mean? It means that safe, trusted, and secure sending is at the very top of mind across all verticals and industries. We have to be rooted in this. With email, unfortunately, we have to combat bad actors that really want to take advantage of our industry. We all know we've gotten those terrible phishing emails, send me money. No, you're not legit. So
you can actually send me money.
So inbox providers, they must continually increase their authentication standards for improved security and enhanced user experience to combat those spam and phishing attempts that we were just talking about. Have you ever heard the phrase, I use this frequently, the juice is worth the squeeze? In this case, it really is. It might take a few extra minutes of your time during the onboarding process, or even if you haven't done it now and you've been, sending with Mailjet or with your another email provider, right? Take a few minutes and get this set up, because it is worth the ongoing impact of improved deliverability. Authentication is a crucial step in ensuring that your emails also are landing in the inbox and not in spam. And then when it comes to SPF and DKIM, I know for me, again, being in the email industry a long time, when I really started to peel back the onion on deliverability, these terms were a bit intimidating to me. So I just want to pause for a second and really define what authentication protocols, what that really means. So imagine that you are getting a letter. And SPF is like looking at the mailman's uniform. And if they're wearing the right uniform, you know that they are a real postal worker and they have permission to actually deliver mail to my home. And then if we look at DKIM in that same light, it's like the wax seal on a letter. If it's not fake or broken, you know that the letter is really from the intended sender, and that nobody has opened it or has tried to make changes to what it says before it gets to you. So that's the easiest way of breaking it down, explain it to my 5-year-old, and I think he could understand that. Natalie, what can we do to help with this?
Yeah, so if you've heard me on Email Academy before, you'll have heard me talk about this a million times, and I will likely never stop. It is, we are on the wrong slide. There we go. So we are definitely, it's really, really important to ensure that we are authenticating on all of our domains. And there is an easy way of doing this on a lot of platforms these days. You'll see this little pop-up on the screens that lets you just goes into your registrar and does it for you. But I will say, if you haven't done this, go do it. If you're not sending from a business domain, go sign up for a business domain. And when I say business domain, I mean that @domain.com is not Gmail. It's not a free mail of any kind. Make sure you set that up. It is not just the authentication, getting inbox providers to trust you, but over time it's deliverability. We've seen these trends increase with inbox service providers where they're strengthening the regulations. So last year we were all famously calling it Yugle. I think it was last year. What is time?
2 years ago now, I think, honestly.
I feel like it was last year, maybe it wasn't, but they increased the requirements on bulk senders, and they're likely to continue doing that. There's different ways to ensure that your logos show up properly, but we want to make sure we're building trust with our inbox providers, because that gets us in the inbox, which is where we want to be. And this ongoing landing in the inbox, getting users to click on our emails and open them and interact, it all builds for that deliverability component. Deliverability is a long game. It's not a sprint. So authentication is so important. There are additional steps between above and beyond SPF and DKIM, but I will say start there, worry about the rest later, make sure you have that in place. And then you can consider like DMARC down the line, or making sure that you can have your logo in there, but make sure you do this. If you use Mailjet, there's a really simple, easy way to do it. You'll just actually provide the credentials to your registrar, which is where you keep your domain, to get it done. But this is the ones I will stand hands down. The best thing you can do for your deliverability to get out the gate is make sure you authenticate that domain name. Okay, I will get off my high horse now.
I also, I think that there's a highlighted question here. Has someone highlighted a question on the screen?
Yeah, that's a new feature. I'm not going to lie. I'm not used to it.
Someone was asking about list segmentation and how do they do it? How do they segment?
I will say real quick, let's make sure that we throw all of those into the Q&A, and then we will go through all of those at the end so that we can make sure we get all the content, because we could easily answer all of these amazing questions. So ask all of your questions in that Q&A tab so we can go through them. We're getting close to Q&A, so make sure you get them in there. Make sure you're upvoting the ones you want answered, and we'll go through those at the end. We're nearing the top trends. Before we hop into them, we opened another poll. If you go to that polls tab, you can answer it, and we'll keep it open as we move on. But we all know AI is just the age, it's just the life we're in now. So we want to understand how you're currently using AI in your email workflow, since it's everywhere. And go ahead and answer that as we get into the next trends.
Awesome. So let's pause there for 2 seconds. I know that I've started to embrace AI, and I'm using it just to help, solve for a blank page problem that I often have or get overwhelmed by. So that's my, personal experience. It's just a good Kickstarter. Natalie, any thoughts around that before we get into this trend?
Yeah, you obviously know I have complicated feelings for AI. On one hand, I absolutely love it. I understand its use for productivity. On the other hand, I love the planet, and I love people having jobs, and I think we should use it responsibly and intentionally. And we should remember what we're using, because it is artificial intelligence. So absolutely. Complicated relationship at best.
Complicated. So intentional AI, this leads directly into what we're getting ready to talk about. Do not use AI just for the sake of it, just because everyone's doing it, just because it's the hot button topic. Instead, let's be mindful about these 3 things. So number 1, yes, AI can help you be more efficient and effective with your everyday workflow. As I just mentioned, it helps me to be more efficient and effective personally. Number 2, and we're going through this yes and but scenario right now. And the success deepens when you're using AI intentionally to deliver relevant and authentic content that is an accurate representation of your brand. You have to leverage all of the things that you know about your brand into the AI to help give you to help spit out relevant content, right? And then number 3, the but. It does not replace human judgment. So it is very critical to always review and refine what you receive as a proper, quality assurance protocol when you are using it. I know that there have been occasions where, I might have look at something and see like, oh yeah, this was definitely AI generated. But if it comes out and then you modify it according to your own judgment and your knowledge, right? It can still be personal and have that personal touch on it. So yeah, AI with a purpose. We need to always make sure that we have putting that lens on when using it. And then how do we optimize, Natalie?
Yeah, so AI is throughout the email workflows in all of our ESPs now, all of our products. Honestly, it's kind of like the camera phone. One day it was like, cool, we have a camera phone. And then before we knew it, there was cameras on everything. And I felt like I was going to buy an apple at a grocery store and it was going to have a camera on it. That's AI. So the good thing is it's in our workflows. So when we're using it, we don't have to leave our workflows, which I personally love. I'm lazy. Right now, we can use it to ideate on content quickly, subject lines. I love it for the iteration. Again, keeping those ideas human, keeping them real, keeping them authentic. But sometimes we're tired and we need help. So I think AI can really help you sort through your thoughts there. You can surface engagement insights really fast with this as well. You can pull down data. Mailjet has like an MCP server if you want to connect actually to like Claude with it, or just use AI to analyze it. Big call out, please don't ever put your PAI in there in any way. We are not feeding AI any of our audience actual information. We want to give our email statistic information, opens, clicks, stuff like that. And you can really see trend lines a lot faster using AI because you can have those conversations instead of having Excel dialogues, which again, is a lot. So it can really expedite that process. Another one coming to Mailjet very soon that I'm excited about is you can use it to segment your audiences, right? So we are putting AI directly in segmentation because segmentation can be complicated. Building queries can be overwhelming. And sometimes it's just easier to say it and then to look at it, edit it, confirm it afterwards. So that is a great way, making sure we're creating the correct audiences with AI by talking to it in plain language first. I think so much of AI is removing that barrier between a lot of complicated things by opening up that natural language, which is what I think is so admirable about it. And it's just making sure that we're using it responsibly and intentionally throughout our workflow to really optimize what we're doing, not to replace what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay. So do we need a drum roll for our number one trend?
Let's bring it home with the intelligent inbox. What does that mean? AI is a part of the inbox experience. It's a fundamental part of it. It's not going away. Think about it. AI powered features like inbox summaries that you see, popping up on your, mobile device in your mailbox and really all over the place. It's becoming the new norm. These tools give readers a snapshot of your email content and the intent of the content before you even actually open it. And it leads to a critical realization, right? The first eyes that are actually on your email will often be AI and not your actual customer. Meaning our content needs to be optimized for artificial intelligence. We must make sure that AI can easily understand and accurately summarize each message that you're sending. So the right intent is passed along to the user. It's a new and essential step in making sure that campaigns are effective and that they are, still continue to be engaged with. So make sure that little sneak peek is enticing enough to take it a step further and actually open your mail. And how can we do that?
Yeah, so I'm even seeing some of this in the chat. So AI in the inbox is going to really shift what we're thinking about with content because we have to create it not just for our audiences, but for AI. So we want to send subject lines that clearly state value. We want at a glance for our users, but also for AI to know what our intent is. We want to create copy with AI summaries in mind. We want to make sure that we have relevant content. We want front-loaded intent and key information as clear as day at the beginning, and we want to use clear, unambiguous language. I'm sure all of us have interacted with a chat that went crazy quickly because we weren't super clear. They call it artificial, but it really needs a lot of instructions and hand-holding. So we want to make sure we're doing that. Also, we want to structure content so it's easy to extract. AI relies on structured content when it pulls things out in most large language learning models. So when it's pulling it out, AI largely just is looking for the formats and consuming it in that same hierarchy that we build a lot of things in. So we want to make sure we're structured. I recommend you test your copy. We all can go to ChatGPT or whatever our favorite AI buddy is these days and ask it to summarize it for you to understand if your meaning is coming through quickly. Once Gmail, which I don't think they've released everywhere, I think it might be in beta, releases it, it's probably going to take off more than ever because Gmail is such a heavy provider, but it's everywhere. It's on Google Summaries. So we really want to be optimizing not just for our audience, but for our AI bots, which is interesting to say out loud. When we're creating this, we also want to make sure that personalization is on point because relevance matters in the inbox more than it ever did. So we're going to build our emails with AI in mind, not for AI, just with AI in mind. So that's how we're going to start seeing it on email marketing. That was a lot to cover, so much information.
Yes.
And one of the best parts of the entire webinar, before we switch out, do you have anything else you want to say, or should we welcome one of our favorites for the best times of the
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we covered it all. And let's get into Q&A.
All right, Q&A time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, friendly reminder, make sure you throw those questions in the Q&A tab because there's so many of them and we can't read the chat at the same time. So we appreciate it if you throw them in there. We're also pushing some in there. Also, massive shout out to Relena for answering some of these highly technical ones that need a little bit more attention. So, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that Q&A tab. And I'm gonna also, everyone, if you can, upvote the ones that you would like answered a little bit more priority-wise. That helps us kind of sort these up. So let's do my most upvoted. Okay, let's see. All right, and then Natalie and Chloe, if you see something before I do, call it out and I'll throw it up there.
Oh, I should stop sharing the slides.
Yeah. I did see one that came through asking about if, from the first slide, about sort of the email industry in general, was email shown as a channel option with the other channels, and did it still get that 77% even when it was shown with the SMS and the WhatsApp and what's not? The answer is yes. It was like showed, 10 different channel preferences, and email was still, selected as one of the top 3 choices for that 77%.
I'm trying to find that one so we can go ahead.
Yeah, I threw one up there. Is there an option for AI to generate insights on campaigns and how is it performing? So there is. A lot of companies, including Mailjet, have MCP servers, and that allows you to connect your favorite chatbot buddy to your ESP. It's usually pretty simple to do with just your account information, and that will pull read-only information into your chatbot so you can pull real-time statistics and really analyze on that. I did a lot of testing on ours and did it against a lot of our campaigns, and it actually is really powerful in the sense that you can dive a lot deeper and a lot faster of time to see trend lines and really get in there. I always like to call out, my big joke is do exactly what you do with a coworker, challenge their findings. We all know AI can get a little funky sometimes, so keep that in mind when we're using it on campaign insights. But a lot of the best tools we're seeing are through MCP servers. We have talked about that in the past, so if you want to dive deeper into those, we have tons of information on blogs and such on that. But so far, that's the best I've seen. Just always challenge the results and make sure you understand them.
Yeah, and Natalie, I think we even have like a nice little video snapshot of the Mailjet one that's on our YouTube channel. So if we can, send that over, that would be awesome. Check it out, guys.
Yeah, you just sent Laura scrambling to find that link real quick. All right, what else do we got?
This is an easy one too. Someone was asking too, are you providing a copy of the slides? We are going to provide you a copy of the recording today. So come back here or also head over to our YouTube channel. I will throw that in the chat as well and you can follow along. So do not worry, okay? All right, let's see. Someone wanted to know, do AI summaries pick up personalization or just general content?
So I think the answer to this is it's going to depend on who's doing the AI summary. That's the hardest part about all of this is every inbox is own, like Apple and Gmail, and they're all going to develop their own algorithms, their own models, and it's going to treat it a little bit differently. It's going to be yes to some extent, and it's going to get better over time. So I imagine like when Gmail rolls it out, and I don't even know the go live date on that, but it's soon, it'll probably be not as good, and then it'll get better and better. A lot of this you'll already see in like Google search results. Apple's a little bit more advanced in it, and they're pretty good at some of those personalizations and pulling them in. But I think it'll be an evolving thing, and I think it'll depend on the inbox. And I think there'll be some testing to do.
Love it. Okay. All right. Let's see here.
I see one. What's the easiest way to check accessibility of a design? And that was upvoted.
So there are different tools that you can utilize, and it depends on like what you prefer to actually check the accessibility. You can also use inbox testing to make sure that it lands once, like you've got the design, once it lands in the inbox correctly. You can do simple tricks, like there's plugins for your browser that'll read your emails aloud, that'll let you kind of test it yourself. There's a variety of tools on this. I don't have a favorite or one that I would recommend, but I'm sure a ton of people in the chat throw in your favorite ones. I'm sure all of us are using them. But I keep a browser plugin just so I can like do my first check, inbox previews always, so I understand what it looks like. And then there's specific accessibility checks tools out there that you can utilize. Email and asset is obviously a good call out.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm the Mailjet product marketer, so I'm going to talk about Mailjet. We tend to, we do design our templates. And if you're using our pre-built templates, they're built with accessibility first mindset. And so, pick up one of those templates or use an AI generated template with Mailjet, and you're a step ahead of the game.
Love it. Nothing wrong with a little talking about ourselves. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Let's see here. Moving down the line, shall we? We talked about accessibility.
Questions. This is amazing.
Right.
I see one about email attribution. So, and this one is, I'm just going to read it. I struggle with attribution from email or SMS messaging. I use MS Dynamics as our CRM, and our primary CTA is to call into our team. What I need to know is how do others solve the funnel measurement to see if email had a direct effect on a conversion? This is a great question. It is something that, today in Mailjet, Natalie, do we have a pixel or something like that can help solve for this? Or have you, do you have any recommendations on how to work through email attribution?
Yeah, I mean, we do tagging in different variety of things. Every ESP is going to have a bit different, and this will come down to exactly how you want to solve or how you want to track for it. I will say it's not always 100% easy night and day how to be like, we had a conversion, but it's following the behavior through the life cycle. So being able to take that open to a click and have that information available within it and then follow the journey. And you can do those things with tags. You can do that with, we offer like tagging within Mailjet. I'm trying to think of what others call it off the top of my head. I'm not sure. Some people automatically will let you put pixels in. So there's a lot of specifics. I will say that was such a specific question that if you want to reach out to me, I'll be dropping my LinkedIn, the chat at the very end of this. Reach out to me and we can dig into it together a little bit deeper, because it's such a specific question that I want to give you a better, more specific answer to your use case.
Awesome.
Thank you, Gaspar. All right, moving down the line. Chloe, that was like buried deep in the pile. Out of the way. Digging for that one. Oh, man.
I think it's just so important, as you join our email academies to, get tangible, hands-on, applicable, items that you can take back and use. So I wanted to call it out.
this is such low-hanging fruit for me, but product is my thing here, so I have to throw it up. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to our wonderful support team. You can hit our documentation up. We do all of our past email academies on YouTube. We are all here for it. So again, I'll be dropping my LinkedIn there if you want to connect directly, or you can reach out to our support team. We've got so many different methods, but find a way, any way you prefer.
Yeah. And I mentioned to our YouTube channel, there are some, in the last year or so, we've dropped some different video content that can help sort of introduce some of our newly released enhancements to help them be a little bit more digestible. And our documentation too is great.
I like this one. I'm going to throw this one out there. So this one was from Melissa, and she was asking, how do you avoid content creative burnout while trying to personalize so much?
Deep breaths.
Yeah. pulling from like yourself and your personality too, and also I don't know, and especially in the past, Natalie and I have like pulled from pop culture or anything that's just fun and relative.
The fun and relative is like, I think that's half the battle for the burnout side. Like, make it fun. I think there's like a challenge of like, we do focus on personalization so much that maybe sometimes we take it too far, and we just like need to take a step back and take a breath and wonder if like we're overemphasizing on it. But yeah, make it fun. We have so much fun. Like, we did an email academy that was basically all rom-coms, and we had so much fun. And it's just being able to bring our personalities, our brand's personalities to life and be authentic and real. And then sometimes take a long weekend.
And also on the flip side of that, I will add too that hyper personalization doesn't always necessarily mean that, you have to drive and evoke like that emotion from something that connects with someone, right? It can also just mean being really targeted in your, audience strategy, making sure that you're reaching the right people who will, be the most likely to engage or most likely to convert. So it doesn't always have to mean like, hitting the nail on the head with, oh, this person's going to think that this subject line is funny, or this person's going to, resonate wholeheartedly with, this creative that I've put behind it. So just another perspective.
Awesome. Stay creative, y'all. Stay fresh. All right, moving down the line here. We got a few minutes left. Let's see.
There's so many.
I know.
Relena has really done a great job answering so many of them.
Oh, you're looking. I'm going to share this one. I think the answer is it's not clear. So is it clear how all image emails will be affected by AI summaries? I don't think it is clear just yet and how they're going to solve for that, but please make sure you're putting alternative text on all of your images and be descriptive with it, right? I think this will be one of the biggest challenges when it comes to engagement, because if people are turning AI on in their inbox and expecting summaries and there's not something to summarize, I don't want you to be punished because there's something to summarize, so inboxes just drop you. So I think we need to be really intentional with all our alternative text until we really figure out how that's going to evolve. I think this year will be the year we find out, and then it'll keep advancing from there. But I think right now we want to make sure we're sending with that alternative text that really defines it and getting a little creative as that gets rolled out. But just be aware of it and be careful of it, because they might start prioritizing AI summaries over other content because they're going to want to promote their product. So it's going to happen.
And then that alt text, Natalie, I know you and I were talking the other day, and we were, in the tool doing some demos and stuff, and you were like, oh, this isn't the right alt text. So like, how does someone actually execute proper alt text when they are inputting that?
Yeah, you just want to make sure you're actually accurately describing what you're showing and being descriptive. Again, don't think of it as like a label. Think of it as, if I wasn't seeing the image, this is what the image would represent, right? So close your eyes. What do you see? You're doing it so that people can hear it. So yeah, a lot of those things, like I'll get alternative, like I always put like Cinch Mailjet logo. It's descriptive instead of just logo, for example, when I send an email, because I want people to know the context of the image placement if they aren't able to read it themselves. So I think that'll get important.
Awesome. All right, yeah, looks like we got time for like maybe one more, maybe like a big question.
Big one, huh?
Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Lots of questions about it being is the recording going to be shared? Oh man.
We should put a banner. Recording will be shared. No, it's
No, we actually, yeah, we'll do that next time, y'all. It's a FAQ, frequently asked question. Oh man. Go ahead.
Sorry. Nope, the one I saw, Relena answered it. She's really on top of it.
Here, we can throw it up. We can throw it up in here.
Oh, it was just asking it was from George, asking about what about landing in the promotional tab of inbox. Yeah, what can we do about this?
I mean, this is not the answer you want to hear, but the promotional tab is the inbox. The way to get into the actual inbox, but the promotional tab technically is the inbox. And we kind of do have to respect how the users sort their email. I love the promotional tab. Sometimes I just want to go shopping. I don't want to deal with reality. That's why I have it. But engagement is how you get out of that, to be honest. If a user is, and if people go in there, if you get users to really engage with your content, you'll land in the direct inbox more. That comes down to deliverability. It comes down to personalization, audience segments. It's the whole strategy has to be in line, and then you have to get them to really click through and engage with your email to land in the inbox. But the promotion tab is not jail. People do use it. It's a good place to be. And again, we do want to respect our audience because they might have it on for a reason. You can't also just encourage everyone to turn it off that you know in your life. Next holiday, just tell them, hey, go turn off that feature.
Yeah. Hit all mail.
Yeah, hit all mail.
Welcome to chaos.
I'm a very honest person, so I love it.
Yeah, same.
And there are people in the world who actually read through every single email that hits their inbox. My mother is one of them. I give her lots of kudos for it.
That's crazy.
It is.
Oh man. All right, y'all. That is the last question for the day. Massive thank you to everyone for Massive thank you for everyone participating and throwing in some questions for us. And a massive thank you to Relena for helping us out in the Q&A section. Natalie and Chloe, closing remarks. Any last words for the day?
Yeah, if you want to stay in touch, I just dropped my LinkedIn. That's the best place to catch up. But thank you for joining us for the first Email Academy of 2026.
Yes, I will echo that. I am going to drop my LinkedIn in the chat. Is that where you put it, Natalie?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah, please do reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. Thanks again for having me. I know that I'm a new face, and put this stuff into practice. Use these tips and tricks, and good luck in 2026.
Yeah, put these tips into action and come back next webinar and hey, let us know how it went. We'd love to hear back from your feedback in there. Also, Laura threw in there too. If you do want to hear and suggest some topics for Email Academy, we'd love to hear back from you. So let us know for sure. Other than that, wishing everyone a safe and sane 2026. We'll see you pretty soon. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.